Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of ITG live from Columbus State University. It's day 2 of the Final Four. 2 locations, 16 games, 4 different classifications. We already got one half of the state championships for 1A and 3A. They've already solidified. We'll talk about those winners, and then we're going to preview today 2A at ABAC, 4A at Columbus State University. We also got joining us Brett Naylor, or as everybody likes to call him, Brett Taylor. He'll be joining us. Quavo, the Rambler of Macon. We got many nicknames for him, but he's our good friend, and he is one of our fearless leaders of GIAA.TV. He's down there with the Mott himself, getting ready for those big games. But Rich, how about the games yesterday? We had a lot of fun, didn't we, at both locations?
Oh, man, it's been incredible. Yesterday, it started off with Terrell Academy taking on Westfield School. I tell you what, that was the Sally Masters Hadley Webb show. They scored like 80% of the Terrell Academy's points. And then we had the matchup between the defending champions last year, St. Andrews, taking on the champions from 2 years ago, Lakeview. And then, of course, we had the nightcaps. We had the undefeated Frederica taking on the 2-time champ Lakeview on the girls. And then the nightcap, Brookwood taking on the new and upcoming team, Valwood. But I'm excited to talk about all of them. I'm excited that we have Brett on the show getting ready to talk about the 1A classification.
Yep, and we're going to break down all what's happened around the association. It's all basketball, and we got boys finals. Let's start with who won, and then we're going to have Brett on here in just a little bit. First up, Class 1A boys. Thank you to Savoy and Instagram for putting this up, so we already know who won. She's doing her job so we can do our job. FPCA, First Preparatory, defending champion, had no problem yesterday. They take on Citizens Christian, Richard. They were able to dominate LaGrange, who was actually the 2 seed. In my opinion, maybe LaGrange a little bit overseeded, but a great season
I think so.
by Britt Gaylor and his team. But Citizen Christian won that by close to 30. So FPCA, Citizens Christian, that's 1A boys. How about for the 1A girls? Memorial Day, Richard, they were up like 40 at halftime, it seemed like. They had no issue in their semifinal. And Citizens Christian, again, the girls, they were the 3 seed. They pull off an upset, Rich. So they have a chance to maybe sweep in the 1A classification. FPCA boys taking on Citizen Christian boys, and the Citizen Christian girls taking on at Memorial Day. What are you looking forward to, and what do you think, man?
Well, first of all, the fans from Douglas, Coffee County, Citizens Christian, going to be packing the Lumpkin Center because they got the girls and the boys playing, and they're hoping what happened 2 years ago when Lakeview had the girls and boys sweep. Yeah. Citizens Christian trying to do the same thing. But Memorial Day for the girls, that is a top dog there, and I think that's going to be a great matchup. And then for the boys, that's going to be an awesome matchup too. But I think that Citizens Christian ends up I saw them play. They looked fantastic. And so I think that it's going to be a great 1A championship. And I tell you, I'm looking right now. First Central Fellowship. Don't sleep on them either. They're a very good team, and I think that we could end up having just a fantastic single A championship, which will be on Friday, tomorrow.
Yes. FPCA. You're talking about with the boys.
FPCA,
yeah, there we go.
First Preparatory out of Hinesville.
Yeah, Central Fellowship is not in it right now. Let's talk about the other side. 1A Tifton, 1A, was at ABAC. Now the Columbus State, where we were at yesterday. 3A girls. How about Terrell? Tate had no problem. They, against Westfield, held them to under 20 points. What a performance by Coach Israel's team. They're in the state championship. And then the upset of the night, the only undefeated team in all the GIAA, Frederica, goes down. The Mountain Sisters could not handle Lakeview. And for the 3rd straight year, how about Coach Putman's team? Going back to the championship, trying to have a 3-peat. They'll take on Terrell. That's going to be a fantastic one this Friday night. And then for the boys, Brookwood, the number 1 seed, able to take down and dismantle Valwood. They look like a team that is on a mission trying to avenge last year's state championship loss. And St. Andrews, the defending champion, the number 2 seed, down by 13, 32-19 at the half, and then storm back in that second half to win by close to 15. What a performance by St. Andrews. And, man, we're going to have a good one. Number 1 versus number 2 in 3A.
Yeah, and I think that that performance, Terrell Academy to hold Westfield School to 22 points. The two players of the game in the first half, it was Hadley Webb. And then in the second half, Sally Masters just took over. And that was just an incredible performance. And then we ended up having the undefeated Frederica Academy go down from Lakeview Academy, who's trying to 3-3. Emery Combs was the player of the game, in my opinion, for that game. The boys matchup, I mean, obviously what St. Andrews has done, trying to go back-to-back. And then Brookwood, who was number 1 seed last year, getting a big win over the 5 seed Valwood. Brookwood has a chance, as we got another rematch of a championship for the 3A classification, Thrift.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, what we're going to do, Rich, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Brett Taylor on and talk about yesterday's 1A at ABAC, how it was going, and then talk about today's upcoming games for 2A, and then we'll preview that and 4A here on Inside the GIAA Final Four edition. We'll be right back after this.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.tv, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Inside the GIAA live from Columbus State University. We are presented by the Beck Center. Thank you to Roger Beck and the Beck Center for his support of all things around the GIAA. Let's go ahead and bring him on. He is the guy that's at ABAC. We call him Brett Naylor. Brett, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, Thrift and Richard? How are y'all?
We're doing great. First things first, I'm going to let you tell the story. How was yesterday 1A classification? How's ABAC as a place to host this event, and how's it going so far?
Yeah, really good. Just an old school gym and lots of seating capacity. I don't think we got we had some good crowds yesterday, but I don't think we got to max capacity, and just a great location right off I-75, easy to get to. And we had some great games yesterday. 2 games that kind of went down to the wire, 2 games in the middle that were close for probably the first half, and then maybe got a little out of hand in the second. But yeah, it's definitely some good basketball. We went right out of the gate yesterday with a double overtime thriller. So just some great basketball being played in a really cool venue that they've put a lot of money into over here at ABAC and gotten it ready to go now in their second season of basketball back at ABAC for the Stallions.
Brett, talk about that atmosphere at ABAC. What was it like? How was the fan support? And what was basically the accommodations that the GIAA offered there at ABAC?
Yeah, so really cool. I'll tell you what, we're right here on a ledge, basically kind of like at Columbus State, where there's a mezzanine, and we're sitting up here kind of looking down on what is considered, I guess, the visiting side. And a couple of games yesterday completely filled on this near side, and just, like basketball is, everything's close proximity, very close to the court, and lots of excitement, lots of screaming for their team and getting ready to hopefully cheer their team on to a victory. We had some, as I said, some kind of heartbreaking moments yesterday, but that's kind of what makes sports and basketball really cool.
No doubt about it, Brett. Talk about some of those games that stood out to you yesterday, and what are you looking forward to in the 2A classification today?
Yeah, I'll talk about some really good performances. I'll start out with a nightcap, the FPCA Robert Toombs game. Just a great back and forth game, and Robert Toombs jumped out to a 20-4 lead at the end of the first quarter, and FPCA came out. They extended their defense in the second quarter. They were able to turn Robert Toombs over and get back in the game. They actually took a lead in the halftime, and they just kind of held on in the second half did FPCA. You could tell by the end of it, they had exerted so much energy in the second quarter, getting back in that game and taking the lead, that they were just kind of holding on to the end, and they were able to get it done even when Robert Toombs had chances there at the end. So FPCA is going to be a tough out, but then they play a team in CCA in the finals that looked dominant yesterday against LaGrange Academy, who was the 2 seed. And I tell you what, Blake Brantley was a really good player for them. Someone you need to look out for. He had a big dunk in yesterday's contest. And then in the single A girls game, you had some really good players there. Miles from Memorial Day, she was dominant inside. I think she averages about 19.2 points per game. She was very good. And then Arabelle Robertson for CCA in the first game we had, she had to have 25 rebounds yesterday in the ball game and close to 35 points. She was the reason why they were able to come back in that game and make it interesting, and ended up taking the lead and getting the victory there. So we'll see how the championships play out from the single A, but the semifinals were very exciting for the most part, and a great venue to have them at.
Well, we can't wait to see the 2A today. $29.99. That's right, $29.99. You get access to all 16 semifinal games, 8 yesterday, 8 more today. Brett, have a good time. Tell Trent to drink a lot of fluids. Tell the Mont not to pass out from getting too excited. And tell JJ he's always been the man, and I love him.
I will pass along the information. Y'all have a good day over in Columbus, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
Yep, that's Brett Taylor. Can't wait to have him back on, Rich. That was a lot of fun. Let's take another break. When we come back, let's preview those 2A games and 4A games, semifinals, and we'll wrap it up here. Because guess what, Rich? In about 36 minutes, Stratford, George Walton, maybe the game of the day, coming up next here at the Lumpkin Center, Columbus State University on GIAA.TV.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Welcome back, everyone, here. That's Rich. I'm Thrift here. And Rich, throw it up. Let me see it. Where are those semifinals? Let's start with the 2A classification. Over at ABAT, we'll go girls first. And that is going to be on GIAA.TV. All the matchups there. So can't wait to be able to turn it in. So let's start with the girls. The number 1 seed for the girls is Brentwood, Richard. The Lady Eagles are going to be hosting 5 seed Gatewood. And then Southwest Georgia, they'll be taking on Trinity Christian. What are you looking forward to with both those matchups?
Oh, man, that 2-3 matchup that's starting in about 30 minutes. I mean, you had Southwest Georgia end up taking down the defending champions in Central Fellowship. Trinity Christian, we saw them in the championship a couple years ago. I think both of them want to try to get back to that championship. We know how great Southwest Georgia is at a 2A level. And as far as Brentwood, number 1 seed taking on Gatewood has really been the surprise of the tournament. I can't wait for these matchups.
Gatewood 20-7 on the year. Brentwood comes in 24-5 into this one. Southwest Georgia not 23-3, and the Crusaders of Trinity Christian 19-9. Telling you that 2A is going to be really fun. Let's go to the 2A boys, Richard. And first game for the 2A boys, 4:30 is, remember, the 2-3 seeds or that side of the bracket. They will be playing to start, Rich, and let's look at that first one for the boys matchup, which is Fertile Prep, the defending champion, taking on Brentwood. This could be a lot of fun, Richard. What are you looking forward to with that one?
Well, I'm looking forward to fundamentally sound and skilled basketball players from Fertile Prep, that school out of Ackworth, who is the 2-time champions of the 2A classification. I can almost guarantee you they have got a European player that we're gonna have a hard time pronouncing their name. They that's pretty much what their team was made up of last year.
Bertod, 19-9 on the season, Rich. How about Brentwood? 23-2.
Yeah, incredible season for Brentwood. I think that Brentwood should be the favorite in this. It shouldn't matter what happened last year.
No.
Yes, Fertop Prep is the two-time defending champs, but Brentwood on paper has had the better season as far as record-wise. That's why I'm looking forward to just an incredible game.
Then the nightcap, Heritage. How about the Hawks? 24-5. Coach Joe Jerome, 5, trying to make it to 5 straight state championship games. They'll be hosting Central Fellowship. You were talking about them. That's
we were.
1A.
Yeah.
This
They're
is
2A. Central
The
Fellowship
Lancers
2A.
are 21-7. Man, I'm telling you, both boys and girls 2A classification, a lot of very evenly matchups, evenly good matchups. What do you think with Heritage and Central Fellowship? That's tonight, 7 o'clock at ABAC.
Well, if there's anything as
7:30,
far as
excuse me.
elite coaching, Joe Jerome has done a fantastic job with Heritage, but they have gone to the championship 3 times in a row. They want to try to get back there for a 4th time, and I don't want to see them become the Buffalo Bills of the GIAA. I want to see them win it all. I think Heritage deserves it because of the way they've played and the fact they've been to the championship 3 years in a row.
Well, we look forward to watching that one. Now here in Columbus, kicking it off, holy smokes. Stratford and George Walton, both games early in the season went down to the wire. These two teams know each other very well. Winner will make it to the state championship. Both very well-coached teams. I cannot wait for this battle. The Bulldogs and the Eagles, and the nightcap as the number 1 team in the GIAA, number 5 in the entire state, including the GHSA. That's Athens Christian. They got some dominant players in Marlene Balima and Voldy Basana.
Yes.
They are going to be taking on Loganville. Don't sleep on Loganville. They beat Mount DeSales, the 4 seed, by 30. Both those games are going to be really good. I can't looking forward to that. 3 o'clock, Stratford, George Walton. At 6 o'clock is Athens Christian and Loganville.
Let's start with Stratford, George Walton. Obviously, both have had fantastic years. They look at last year and the way it ended, both of them losing in the semifinals. Stratford losing to Pacelli. Well, they wronged that, basically getting that win over Pacelli in the quarters. And then George Walton losing a heartbreaker to Athens Christian last year. They feel that they should have won that game. Well, one of these teams is going to move on. Both are hungry. Both are ready to try to get back to a championship. George Walton won it all in 2023. They went to the championship in 2024, so they have the pedigree. As a basketball just went right by us, but
it happens.
because you got people warming up. We're about 30 minutes till game time. But George Walton, they've had that championship pedigree. Stratford's had a fantastic season. As far as Athens Christian, they are the number 1 overall team in the entire GIAA, taking on a Loganville Christian team that you don't want to sleep on.
All right, let's talk about the boys classification. At 4:30, number 3 Athens Christian, the team that played in the championship last year. They've been on a tear. They have been winning, I think, like 9 or 10 in a row. They won the region tournament. Coach Lampley's team playing their best ball. They had no problem with Fulton Science last week. They take on the number 2 seed, Gaines Academy, who went into triple overtime against George Walton and won that game by 1. 22-7, the Kings Academy. And then the nightcap, the 2-time defending champion, played in the last 3 championships, 4 straight Final Fours. Pacelli and Calvin Thomas, the number 1 seed, took care of business against Loganville, and they will be hosting a really good Bethlehem Christian team who did look really good against Tallulah Falls. I was on the call for that in the quarterfinals, Rich. That will be at 7:30 tonight.
I'm looking forward to the Kings Academy, 2nd year in the GIAA. They are the number 2 seed, taking on the runner-up from last year, Athens Christian. Both are new to the GIAA. They've both been in the GIAA for 2 years now. As you can see, George Walton going right past us. And that's the atmosphere we're getting when it's game time. We're about 20 minutes away.
We're about to wrap up.
But I'm telling you,
$29.99. GIAA.TV, Richard. It's going to be a good one.
And then Pacelli, what can you say? Trying to three-peat. They have looked like the best team all season. It's because of their schedule and the fact that they have got players that have been playing together for 4 years.
All right. Well, we look forward to watching all of it. You catch it on GIAA.TV. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next time on ITG. Tomorrow, we'll be right back. And this time, we'll be previewing state championships, 1A and 3A, right here at Columbus State. Everybody have a fun Final Four.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.